mean, at a point, maybe Samonipa was not able, to stop that arrest because the Canadian government is a sovereign nation and they have their laws and they have their rules. The rules, you understand? Using their influence, miscorruption, using your influence to stop the law from taking its place, its course, miscorruption. What is trying to tell you that that nation respect the rule of law. And what is the rule of law? Is stated rules and regulations on how a nation can be governed. This is not Nigeria. So they are going to follow that process, and it's not something Samonipa could stop. He would have stopped it, So the country is going to follow their law, and at the end of the day, what is required, at this point, is to support the woman, and make sure that she gets the best legal services, to defend herself before the Canadian court. Well, of course, every attempt, of course, the woman Amaka was invited, by the Canadian police, which responded. It was not arrest as we speculated in the Nigerian media. She was invited for questioning. On the process, they are going to initiate a court process in that regard. And when that is initiated, of course, there will be legal services that will be provided by the international community and other civil society organizations around the world, including the federal government in exile, powered by the Finnish separatist leader, Ekpa. We are going to see, a legal battle that's going to define the bilateral relationship and diplomatic relationship with Nigeria and other countries of the world, especially as it stands now in Canada. Canada, I believe, yes, is a civilized and cultured country who believe in the rule of law, who understand, the requirements of being a democratic nation and protecting their citizens. Amaka is a citizen of that country, and she has contributed ever since. If you can look at the history of that lady, if well identified that she is an Igbo woman, if you look at her history, she has never had any criminal record whatsoever. But we're just reacting to the burden of continuous attack of the Igbo nation, of Biafrans, by other races who fail. They have what it takes to make inciting statements against the Igbo nation and still go free, simply because this is a country where there is lawlessness, there's no democracy in Nigeria, where everything is just upside down. And because of religion and bigotry, people believe that how somebody is in power there, I can go out and do anything at the end of the day and nothing will happen. Imagine a situation where a prominent king, Oba of Lagos, Akiolu, came out and told the whole world that he's going to throw Igbos into Lago for making a decision to vote their choice in a democratic setting. So what does that tell you?
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. Finally, the Canadian government have caught or arrested, Amaka Sombega, and she risked a 2 years jail term. And they said if she's a migrant and she got a jail term of 6 months, that she might be deported back to Nigeria. At the same time, but if she's a citizen, that they will see to her case. So, but we've seen some Ekpa, write to the Canada government. Do you not think the Canadian government took Ekpa's letter and appeal very serious?
That process, that persecution, let me just, or persecution, because I want to see this thing first of all as a persecution, because the way Amara, the Nigerian government, reactivated themselves against that woman compared to what we normally have here in Nigeria is very, very worrisome. And it gives you that the speed at which they alerted the Canadian government and at which they responded to a similar issue that took place in Nigeria, where we have the Oba of Lagos, the present wife of the president, tinubu, so many of them like that, attacking a particular tribe, single them publicly and be using derogatory words, threatening their existence and properties. Nothing was done. The Nigerian government couldn't do anything, But somebody reacted to overload of all these things coming from Nigeria. And the National Assembly, Abike Dabiri, and the federal government, they started using their diplomatic influence against that woman. But let me tell you, if investigation is going to be done properly, I'm telling you that the Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, was going to look at it very well, because it will be handled by the district police in Toronto, where the woman is being believed to have committed that offense. And if you look at it very well, it is going to be something they are going to look into very well. And of course, the image of that country will be at stake, because it has attracted a global dimension where the international community, the United Nations, and of course the NGOs are going to look at it properly. They need to ascertain the root cause, because if there is no action, there will be no reaction. The woman was possibly reacting to continuous attack on the Igbo nation by other tribes. Look at the issue of Lagos must go. The Lagos media secrecy has never been unveiled. The Lagos state government have not done anything. But when it comes to one thing, the Igbo, you see them, marshalling out their weapons from different angles, using their level. But let me tell you, Amaka Precious, nobody's going to do her anything, because one, she has registered her presence. It is not about poisonous mass killing or so. It is about what is already on ground. And what is it that's already on ground? The mass perceived hatred, and attack on Igbo race is something that is worrisome, and it is going from one country, from one place. It is spreading all over the world. So there's nobody in this world, in this country called Nigeria, does not know, there were certain statements credited to certain region, tribes, or race of this country. And secondly, there was one Kingsley, if I can remember to mention his name, from Austria, who actually made a certain statement that the Igbo children all over the world will be poisoned. That Kingsley, who is he? Where is he from? And the people begin to unveil the identity of that person that made Amaka patient to react, the Biafran Canadian woman, to react to that video from Kingsley. Kingsley is from Austria, So at that point, I think a proper investigation will be carried out, and I don't think it's going to risk the alleged charges of that offense, resulting from 2 years or thereabout imprisonment. It is not a public indictment, though the Canadian government might have their laws, but it's a reaction, of the reality, of ethnic profiling that is trending currently now in Nigeria. So, but we expected, of course, as usual, even in that Canada, as I'm talking to you now, we have prominent Igbo personalities who are running a Canadian government with the Canada, with the Canadians. And of course, the Igbo identity in Canada is not a questionable identity, because they have contributed somewhat to the government of Canada on their own little way. So I still believe that the trial will be done properly, by the district police in Toronto, to find out and ascertain, whether actually, something led to that. You understand? Or the woman was just, taking up ethnic profiling by making that kind of speech, singling out those who were actually making that. He didn't call anybody from the north. He didn't call anybody from the DC. He made it very clearly, because this is where the whole thing is coming from. Then another thing is that, why is it that the federal government did not identify the Austrian-based Kingsley? Why? Then why the sudden rush? You see, Abike Dabiri jumping up and down because the Biafran woman is involved, an Igbo person is involved, and you can see Nigeria rushing to the extent, it caused a serious born up, let me put it that way, in the National Assembly, where they were struggling to allow the Canadian government to take up action. Well, if the other is a price of for paying to speak out, to defend. So because it's also enshrined in the United Nations Charter, and I believe that United Nations is going to intervene. You understand? If all things being equal, we are also feeling at this point in time that the woman will not be left alone by the Biafran government in exile, headed by Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa, well, of course, every attempt, of course, the woman Amaka was invited, by the Canadian police, which responded. It was not arrest as we speculated in the Nigerian media. She was invited for questioning, on the process. They are going to initiate a court process in that regard, and when that is initiated, of course, there will be legal services that will be provided by the international community and other civil society organizations around the world, including the Biafran government in exile, powered by the Finnish separatist leader Simon Ekpa. We are going to see, a legal battle that's going to define the bilateral relationship and diplomatic relationship with Nigeria and other countries of the world, especially as it stands now in Canada. Canada, I believe, yes, is a civilized and cultured country who believe in the rule of law, who understand, the requirements of being a democratic nation and protecting their citizens. Amaka is a citizen of that country, and she has contributed ever since. If you can look at the history of that lady, if well identified that she is an Igbo woman, if you look at her history, she has never had any criminal record whatsoever. But we're just reacting to the burden of continuous attack of the Igbo nation, of Biafrans, by other races who feel, they have what it takes to make inciting statements against the Igbo nation and still go free, simply because this is a country where there is lawlessness, there's no democracy in Nigeria, where everything is just upside down, and because of religion and bigotry, people believe that I have somebody is in power there, I can go out and do anything at the end of the day and nothing will happen. Imagine a situation where a prominent king, Oba of Lagos, Akiolu, came out and told the whole world that he's going to throw Igbos into Lago for making a decision to vote their choice in a democratic setting. So what does that tell you? And nothing was being done. Nothing is being done till today. A certain man in Tinubu's government, Bayo Ononuga, makes a lot of them, nothing happened. The National Assembly did not stand up. The federal government did not stand up. The House of Rep, Federal House of Rep did not stand up to say anything. They want to come to anything that has to do, with, of course, that's what makes us who we are, because our word is our bond. But if you look at it very well, Igbo is a peaceful and loving people, and they believe in and the resilient nature of themselves as Republicans to continue to struggle, So the hate is the reason why, this country needs to be go their separate ways, because you can see, things are being done based on nepotism. Things are being done based on the tribe you come from. You understand? And now they have allotted the Canadian government, and of course, the compatriots, the Biafran compatriots in that country, has also risen. For your information, in case people who might be looking at it, that Amaka's life is not in danger, in any form of danger. The Igbo nation all over the world has risen, and they're going to support her and use all available network to get the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to buy into it and look at it very well. And I'll tell you that Amaka will be free, and nothing is going to stop her from going through that process and coming out victory. And remember, she told you that she's a Canadian-based woman, and she has every right, as a Canadian citizen, even if it means they are going to deport her according to Canadian law if found wanted. Of course, she has registered her feelings and has made it very clearly. But Nigerians are watching, Igbos are watching, as the burden of being a nation continue to build against each other, against its race, against even the citizens of this country. Because we are seeing it very clearly that this man, whom Amaka reacted to, is based in Austria. And up to now, the federal government has not been able to ascertain the identity of that very particular person. To date.
So just like you said, do you not think the Canadian government would dash Saman Ekpa's hope, because Ekpa has vowed Amaka Sombega, at least not face charges as regards this. But with the current happening now, do you think Saman Ekpa hope has been dashed?
No, of course. Let me tell you very clearly. It's a struggle. Life is a struggle. People continue to gas towards what they believe in. But in the first instance, I believe that Simon Ekpa is going to use his network. Even though we have seen that it came in at a point, maybe Simon Ekpa was not able, to stop that arrest, because the Canadian government is a sovereign nation, and they have their laws and they have their rules. The rules, you understand? Using their influence, corruption. Using your influence to stop the law from taking its place is called corruption. What is trying to tell you that that nation respect the rule of law. And what is the rule of law? Is the stated rules and regulations on how a nation can be governed. This is not Nigeria. So they are going to follow that process, and it's not something Sabonera could stop. He would have stopped it, So the country is going to follow their law, and at the end of the day, what is required, at this point, is to support the woman, and make sure that she gets the best legal services, to defend herself before the Canadian court. But for me, Simon Ekpa has continued to show interest, has continued to show, that he is the Prime Minister of, or alleged Prime Minister of Biafra government in exile. What does that mean? That every Biafran anywhere in the world, have access to, protection and self-defense, and also will be assisted in legal services in a situation like Amaka's matter. So we expect that Simon Ekpa should be able to, power up more. We want to see victory. We want to use his Amaka's case, to test strong his strength and image at the global level. So the burden is on him. His image and name is at stake, and since he is the one that came out and said, we are going to take this position against any forces who want to make sure that Amaka, is being threatened or find herself in a life-threatening situation. He has assured that. Somebody has assured that he's going to do something about it, and I don't see him relenting in pursuit of justice for Amaka. It is justice for Amaka. It is justice for Amaka anywhere, any day, until we see the court. Amaka go through that court process, and come out victorious. And I can assure you, she will not be left alone as long as Igbo nation is concerned.
Okay, this will be.
Nigeria has over-divided more than the way it is. Are you hearing me? Nigeria has been divided more than the way it is, more than the way people are seeing it. Are you hearing me? It has been divided. The UN are speaking the truth from the angle they have seen it, because division comes from the heart. Are you hearing me? Division started from the heart, and anything that is within the heart is like a woman bag that you don't know what is inside. So many things is inside the heart. So, and in the heart of every Nigeria, they know that we are not one. The only people that had that mentality before, we are the Igbos, the Biafrans. We are the one that believe in that one Nigeria, and that is why in Lagos State, for instance, go and check. Igbos contributed immensely for the development of Lagos State. Igbos believe that anywhere they see themselves in Nigeria, Go and check in the 35, including Abuja. So many acres was demolished by Wike. Who owns it? It's an Igbo man. If Igbo man did not believe in one Nigeria, he wouldn't acquire such place and build it. Igbos will not acquire land in Lagos here and build. Are you getting it? Because they believe mentally we are one. But the attitude of Nigeria and the way they are maltreating the Igbos are giving us another insight that one Nigeria is a scam. It's not true. So the Fulani that say they did not accept or they did not agree. Who is Fulani? Are they Nigeria? Fulanis are not Nigeria. Listen to me and listen good. How many times has Igbo man go to north and kill their women, rape their women, kill them in the farm? No, the people when you talk of one Nigeria. If you say we are one, are you getting it? I shouldn't leave my country and come to your country, destroy your farm crops, destroy your land, take your women, rape underage, even to the point of killing. The point of killing them. Are you getting me? And you say we are one. My dear, we are not one. And we can never be one. Are you hearing it? We can never be what? One, because we are not. A Fulani was it not in 1914 that they came to Nigeria? Yes. The Manfodo or whatsoever they call it, through religion. Through what? Religion. They came to the north through religion. And with that religion of Islam, not knowing that is why I say your heart, in the heart, everything has to do with the heart. The Northerners accepted them. Those Northerners that are the Hausas. You know, Hausa is different from Fulanis. So the Hausas accepted them and welcomed them, believing that they have one religion. But in the heart of the Fulanis, their own mentality and reasoning was quite different from what the Hausas believe. Are you getting it? In the times of Islam. Are you getting it? They themselves, they came with the jihadist, modern system of Islamic. And that was why in the north, they make sure that they murder, they kill, they destroy the Northerners and take over their land.